talk about ASA 114, which is Cruising Catamarans. We just took this course recently, and in this video I'm going to go over the book learning, the practical learning with the instructor on the boat, and also talk about the tests. So first things first, I'm going to run through clips here of our experience on the boat. We are at the Marina where the Catamaran is for ASA 114. We just met at the classroom for like 2 hours and went over classroom stuff, all the basics, the talking points. Now we're gonna come down to the dock and do them for real. Our boat this weekend is gonna be a Lagoon 380, which is pretty good for us because we're considering something of equal or slightly larger size, so it'll be good to get on one, see how it feels, and see how it works for us. He said F? Or it's supposed to be right over here somewhere though. Here, on board.
What's called partial bridge deck, which means you've got this trampoline in the middle. If this deck right here came all the way to the nose and this wasn't here, that's called a full bridge deck. Felt yourself kind of start to go forward, and you should have done this one a little bit more. So you got to find that you have to feel it with your hands.
All right, let's take a quick walkthrough of this Lagoon 380. We're gonna walk in here. That's the nav station covered with our stuff. The galley. Walk down. This is the guest bedroom. Guest side V-berth, which is being used for storage. The guest head. With a shower right there. And we'll cross over through the saloon. Oh, and this over here on the left, this is the fridge. It looks small, but it actually goes way back all the way behind the microwave. Go down into the owner's side. This is an owner's version. We have a separate head and shower up in front there, an ice maker, and this is the owner's side cabin. It's got a standing locker there on the left, and of course the lagoons have a nice 360 panorama all the way around. Now if we walk out, this is the back deck, where everybody's hanging out, which is close and convenient right near the helm station.
Starts to luff, take it off the spool. Take it off the winch. Okay, so over here, so now you don't have to wrap it cable and leave it loose, because when we go to tack back, all you're going to do is pull it. You're not even going to use that winch. So you see there, I didn't touch the winch over here, and I'm in here exactly where
Jessica loves ice cream. What do you get?
I think I got birthday cake.
Looks like something a little kid would make.
I like chocolate and strawberry.
Small, yes, just chocolate Swiss. I could get cookie dough and brownie, and then some hot fudge, and that's it. Look how big that is. That's massive. That's like enough ice
It
cream
just
for
looks
like
bigger 'cause it has
4
this
people.
on.
That's like a pint of ice cream. Was that when you were motoring or when you were?
Yeah, motoring out. Yeah.
Yeah, get better posture. A little bit of cloud cover today, which is nice.
Yeah, it's big kid over that way.
your boat, or you're going to be anchored for a while. Do that continuously over the life of the boat. And say done. Down and up. Okay, so go ahead. Alright, so it's just hanging there like that, right? So you now know if you hit down, that thing's going over. Okay? So just go ahead and get that ready as you're coming into your anchor field so that it's hanging out there and it's ready to go down. On a lot of boats, the anchor platform is such. It's pulling on the bridle and the chain's just kind of hanging off. So we've got a little bit of droop in the chain. So that means there's no pressure on that windlass whatsoever. All of the pressure that's on that anchor is going to the bridle. So that's what you want. You want just enough droop in that chain coming over the top so that you know that. But if you're in a really hard, sandy, packed area, and you stick those things, they're good. You don't got to do anything else. Or you've got them stuck enough that the only thing they can do after that is bury deeper. They can't come back out. And that's all you're trying to accomplish is just get those spades pointed down. Yeah.
They say it won't work more than 50 miles past the international line.
Alright, so now let's talk about the reading. For ASA 114, relatively recently they started updating the course material. There was a little bit of a mix-up, and we got one book of both the old and the new course material. The old book is titled Multi-Hull Fundamentals, and it has both a trimaran and a catamaran in it. The actual book itself is black and white and feels maybe a little bit dated. The new book, Cruising Catamarans, is clearly updated and matches the style of all the other material. The books themselves are fairly thin, with just over 70 reading pages. The book isn't entirely catamaran-centric. They teach things that we've already learned a little bit in the monohulls, but there were enough nuggets in this book that were specific to catamarans to where I'd say this book was worth reading, if at very least skimming through. The old book has basically the same material as the new book, but is a little bit more dated and a little less eloquently written. And there's a few things in the old book which maybe wouldn't be advised nowadays. One of the ones that I got a kick out of was for crew overboard to pick them up by basically running them over. And I thought that this was probably a bad idea, because if the waves are coming up at all, you're going to smash the person's head into the underside of the bridge deck as they go under. It doesn't matter which book you end up with. They both are pretty quick reads, and I'd recommend going through it because you'll probably pick up a few nuggets, things specific to catamarans. I did, however, have issues with the test for ASA 114. I'm not sure if we got an old test and there's a newer test that's going to correspond to the new course material, but there were questions on the test that were neither covered in either book. One specifically was the order of operations of things that you should do if you manage to flip your catamaran. Both books talk about what to do if you flip your catamaran, but neither of the books have the same exact steps as are what was listed on the test. And because the test takes 1 point off for each sequence item you get wrong, you can end up getting 9 points off, 8 or 9 points off on this one question, just because the steps that are listed on the test aren't listed also in the book. That test might have been an older, antiquated test. It definitely didn't correspond well to either of the books. Now, we were able to pass it. It's the same thing, 100 question test, and you have to score 80 or higher to pass. Overall, I felt like ASA 114 was definitely less intensive insofar as the amount of learning we got. It was more taking what we already knew and tailoring it to catamarans. And while you probably could have figured it out, I'd say it was definitely worthwhile to go out with an instructor just so you're not second guessing every single thing you're doing. Now, the class wasn't super cheap. I'll put what we paid for it on the screen somewhere, but I don't regret having paid the cost. For us, because our goal is to live aboard catamaran and sail around the world, this class was the closest that actually gave us a real glimpse into what our life might actually be like on a boat of more or less the right size. And I gotta say, now that we've been on a cruising-sized catamaran, we're more determined than ever to make this happen. That's it for this video. Stay tuned. We're going to be posting videos of our recent around-the-world travels, and we're also going to be trying to get out sailing at least once a month until we saved up enough money to actually start the boat buying process, which is the whole point of this. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.